What up, what up, what up? We are back. My book of favorite quotes, 30-Day Transformation to Becoming a Better You, by yours truly. We are up to quote number 23. And like I said, I know this is taking forever to get through 30, but we getting there, man. We getting there. So we're not going to waste no time. We're just going to jump right into it. Quote number 23. Every problem has in it the seeds of its own solution. If you don't have any problems, you don't get any seeds. By Vincent Peele. Once again, number 23. Every problem has in it the seeds of its own solution. If you don't have any problems, you don't get any seeds. Okay, let's read. There's a certain balance that comes in the universe. The law of polarity states everything has an opposite, the light and the dark, up and down, love and hate, problems and solutions. I've come to appreciate that polarity or balance is necessary for the world to remain stable. What it comes down to is, where's my point of focus going to be placed? As to the problem or the solution? Why would we ever need solutions if problems didn't exist? Where we make our mistake is we get stuck focusing on the problem, when in actuality we want to identify the problem but focus on the solution. How will we know what true joy is unless we had misery there to teach us? How will we truly learn anything unless we had the opposite feeling to compare it to? I had become so numb to feeling anything that I avoided problems altogether. They forced me to think and feel, and because of previous circumstances, I didn't want to. I had witnessed and experienced so much misery. I didn't think I deserved joy or that any joy I experienced would last. But I now know that is not the case. There are equal amounts of everything. What I have done is taken back my control of my focus. I no longer allow external conditions to tell me how to feel or where to put my focus. I decided to choose it for myself. So, for example, my problem was I gave too much attention to what was wrong with the world. The items that dominated the images I saw: war, drugs, poverty, unemployment, divorce, you name it, and I was focused on it. The solution is simple. Focus your attention on what is right with the world instead. For me, it meant not watching as much TV and replacing that with positive books, videos, and audios about better feeling things like meditating, being of service, personal power, etc. It meant not hanging out with the same people or the same energies that perpetuated the misery. Like they say, misery loves company. Well, so does positivity. It was a mental muscle that I wanted to develop to care about reaching for better feeling thoughts. There are many problems in the world, and they all come with a solution. If your problem is money, there are thousands of books with solutions on how to resolve that. If it is communication, love, health, any problem you can name, I guarantee you someone has written a book, produced a video, audio, or seminar with a solution to it. We have to stop thinking our problems are unique to us. They are not. Civilizations have been here for thousands of years. Someone has had your problem before and produced some type of solution to it, I guarantee it. Step out of your comfort zone. Do something different than you have been doing. Einstein said you can't solve a problem with the same consciousness that created it. Socrates said the secret of change is focusing all your energy not on fighting the old but creating the new. Once again, remember to identify the problem but focus on the solution. That's number 23. Every problem has in it the seeds of its own solution. If you don't have any problems, you don't get any seeds. Quote number 23 from my book of favorite quotes. That was a good one, man. That was a good one. That was a lesson that I really needed to take heed to. And studying universal laws really helped me a lot. So if you're not familiar with universal laws, my suggestion is you look them up. You know, even if it's not something that you particularly like. I'm gonna be dive head first into them. I think at least have an awareness of them because it could be beneficial to you. I know for me it helped clear up a lot of confusion in my life. And really quickly, the seven basic laws are: number one, the law of mentalism, which basically says thoughts become things. What you think about, you physically manifest. Um, Two, the law of correspondence, as above, so below. That your inner world corresponds with your outer world, and your outer world corresponds with your inner world. Number three, the law of vibration. Basically, things rest on a frequency, energy, um, which basically misery is a frequency and joy is a frequency. So it's like you have to either raise or lower your vibration to match, the things that you say you want to see in your life. Four, the law of cause and effect. What goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. Number five, the law of rhythm. That things flow. There's a certain flow in the universe. I like to use the example of a pendulum swinging. That's what kind of that motion was. The ocean, the ebb and flow of the ocean. The tide rises, the tide falls. Night follows day. There's a certain flow, a certain rhythm, seasons. Number six, the law of polarity. That's what we just talked about in the book. That things appear to have opposites. And just to clear it up, I just say opposites, but it's really an illusion. So if you have water as the subject, on one end you have hot, the other end you have cold, in the middle you have warm, but they're all connected to the subject, which is water. So love and hate is an emotion. They're actually connected. They're just extremes, polarizing extremes of each other. And lastly, number seven, the law of gender. Takes two to tango. There's a male and feminine, male and female, or masculine, feminine aspect to things. Also, I like to say the law of gestation, which basically says there's a natural time for things to come to fruition. So a baby takes 9 months. Yeah, fruit and food, things grow when they grow. You do your part, you let the universe and God do its part, and you get out of the way. And then watch the transformation take place. So those are the seven basic laws. This one is talking about polarity, and we're talking about problems and solutions. So on one end of the spectrum, you have the problem, and on the other end of the spectrum, you have the solution. So basically, this person is saying within the problem lies the solution. And we've seen that. We've seen that all the time. It's just a lot of the times, like I said, speaking for myself, I was so caught up in the problem and was bogged down by the feeling of the problem. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a problem. Like, it could be any subject that we would consider a problem. So when my father passed away, that was the problem. And it was hard for me to see the seed inside the problem, which gave me the solution, because the pain of the problem was so severe. And I was just focused on the fact that my father had passed away. He wasn't around anymore. I'm not going to have him in my life. Problem, 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 problem. It's like, okay, what are the seeds of the solution? And as I got older and matured, I started to see, well, I could be appreciative of the time that I did get to spend with him. And I don't have to be angry that he's gone, but I can cherish those moments. You know what I mean? And I can try to appreciate the people who are still here. Because I wasn't doing that. Like my mom and my brothers and family and friends, I was so angry that my dad was gone. I wasn't loving on the people that were still right in front of me. My relationship suffered because I didn't want to open myself up. I didn't want to be vulnerable. All of those things were a problem because inevitably I didn't want to be hurt again. Where how would I ever know what true love is unless I was willing to be hurt? So because I know the pain of truly being hurt, now I can understand the feeling of true love or unconditional love. Okay, so there's, you know, it's not that double dutch. It's not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I've been the lowest as far as pain and hurt is concerned, and even with the heart attack, like that was another level of despair that I could have got caught up in. But I think that dealing with my father and being able to overcome those feelings and emotions, that when the heart attack came, you know, although it was unfortunate and I wouldn't wish that on anybody, I didn't get stuck in it. I didn't really see it as a problem. I was like, okay, I see how I contributed to this happening. I see how I contributed to me surviving it. Now, what am I going to do moving forward? What are the solutions moving forward? Okay, I need to adjust some things, shift my way of life, check my thinking, law of mentalism, what was I thinking that created this, and how to make those adjustments. So I didn't spend any time wallowing in the problem. My mind automatically went to the solution. What can we do to improve? What can we do to get better? So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to be long-winded on this one. Every problem has in it its own seed, and that can give you the solution. So whether it's money, relationship, like the solutions are out there. So it's like, once again, don't get stuck on the problem. So I had a buddy explain to me a long time ago. He said, we were talking about relationships. Relationship was the problem. And why I felt like I wasn't having successful relationships. And he goes, all right, man. He said, you play basketball. How many hours have you spent practicing your ball handling? I said, thousands. Jump shots, thousands. Defense, working out, thousands. Too many to count. And he goes, you did all that before you played the game. And I said, well, I don't understand what you're saying. He goes, you're saying you're struggling with relationships, and that's the problem. How many books on communication have you read? None. Well, how many workshops, how many seminars, how many, you know, of anything, videos on relationships, communication, healthy relationships, have you studied? And I said, none. He goes, well, how do you expect to have a healthy relationship when you don't know how? So that's a lot of times why we get stuck in a problem, because some of us, we don't know how to get out of it, but we have to seek the solution. So we have to get outside of just being in the problem and woe is me and talking about it and belaboring the issue. It's like, okay, the problem was there to identify itself. But because I understand universal laws and the law of polarity, so if I'm having a problem or what I perceive to be as a problem, I know automatically there has to be a solution. It can't be one without the other. So that's what's allowing me to accept a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world, because I go, peace. What allows me to appreciate peace is because I've seen war. And not personally, like I haven't been a combatant in a war, but I've seen war. We've seen it on TV, we've seen movies, we've seen video, we've seen World War I, II, like Vietnam, like they make sure we see it. So I can appreciate peace because I've seen the destruction of war. But what we do as a society, we get stuck in the problem of war. And we talk about peace, but we stay in war. So love and hate, like any subject that we would consider a problem, There's no need to get stuck in it because we can look and know based on universal law there has to be a solution. There has to be opposite to whatever I'm saying this problem is. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Once again, my book of favorite quotes, 30-Day Transformation to Becoming a Better You. Number 23 by Vincent Peele. Every problem has in it the seeds of its own solution. If you don't have any problems, you don't get any seeds. So problems aren't something that we should run from because that's how we expand and grow in life, right? This your boy, Brooklyn McClan. I'm out. Peace.